all my life I've been loyal. All my life I've wanted a great love. All my life I've looked for that love outside of myself. For the first time in my life, I'm in a place where I'm intentionally showing up for myself in all the ways that I've always longed for a partner. If I would have been given the type of love that I wanted when I was 17, I would not be half the woman that I am today. I would have silenced my voice. I would have shut off my dreams and my heart. I would have settled into complete submission, completely lost myself. I would have made my purpose that relationship and whatever family we would have built. I'm grateful for the experiences that I've had, the hard experiences that I've had in relationships. I know that I've had to experience those in order to become the person that I am. And even this relationship with this connection, where it had to be that incredible and that magical. And I had to like love that connection so much and that experience so much for me to look at that and look at what was being offered to me by the actual person and say, you know what? I can't keep doing this. And in the face of something that I adored and enjoyed so much, say, I have to respect myself enough to walk away from this, because that process is what it means to no longer abandon myself. That process is what it means to respect myself, regardless of what is being offered on the table. Like, what an honor it is to be in such discomfort right now and so much like either sadness or anger, whatever I was feeling at the moment, because it's like, this is what it actually means. This experience is what it means to no longer abandon myself. I love my life. I love my life. Hi. I didn't know I was going to talk about this. I didn't know I was going to talk about this today. Oh my God. Okay. The energy right now is, I can do this. I'm a big girl. I can do this. Maybe this would do better with like a co-host or conversation with. My whole life is a prayer. You know, when something is just like so fucking wild that like, what's the best case scenario? Best case scenario, I want to work with Kendrick Lamar one day. Listen, it's just you and me here. Ooh. You ready? I'm just gonna be honest, like, that feels like bullshit. That's why I'm able to be so present. We all get to be playful and childlike and dream as big as we can dream. My kids are so cool. I'm just gonna talk about this as if nobody's listening, because the fruit of your life will tell me what's going on in your heart. Okay, I'm ready. Hi. Okay, welcome. This is, I swear this is the last one before I officially start season 3. Hi, my name is Vanessa, and this is the Let's Get Woo Woo podcast. I keep looking over here because I'm doing something a little bit different. The last time I recorded, I was like, is this thing on? And it indeed was not on, and the audio was pretty bad, but I posted it anyways because you just can't recreate a conversation like that. But I'm recording into my Pro Tools now, and so I have the audio over here just to kind of watch it, make sure that it's catching. And then I'm recording my camera here, and I'll just edit it later. Before, I used to use Riverside, and now I'll just have to use a different editing software. So that's cool. Anyways, hi. So it's Wednesday, and I wanted to record this again to just like get it out. Like, it's been here, and I'm just ready to like kind of put it away, seal it off, and move forward. So I posted a video this weekend on my YouTube. It was kind of a longer video, and I titled it Detachment, and I was talking about an experience. And even in there, I was like, I think I'm going to go home and record this podcast on dating as a part of my dating series, but also to serve as kind of something to seal off, not just the series, but also like that season in my life, which is why I just want to like let it go, get it out, and then kind of just move forward. which, you know, is really fitting because if you've been following along, you might know that I'm in a year of devotion to myself for the year of 2026, which has been really amazing, actually. Like, I'm still in it, and sometimes it's hard to like really understand like the true just effects of something when you're still in the middle of it. But already I can tell that like this is exactly what I thought it was going to be and more. And I remember even at the beginning of, actually at the end of last year when I decided to do this, I had journaled and I was even like doing like some video journaling. I was like, I cannot wait to see the person that emerges, the version of me that emerges out of me at the end of this year. So this is the process of that. And I'm actually savoring it, even though it's not easy. Like, it's not easy, but it's just such a sacred like journey. And I don't know, I love it here. You know me, I'm here for that kind of stuff. But I'm actually quite tired of talking about dating and relationships and things. But you know, I'm writing the book on my dating experiences, and I wanted it to be really like light and fun and sexy. But the truth is that there is that, but it's also so much more going on. And I'm not somebody who can just look at something and not notice everything else that I see as well. So I always use any experience in my life as a mirror to myself of like, okay, how am I showing up here? Am I doing what I said I was going to do? You know what I mean? Am I still like doing these old habits that I said I didn't want to do anymore? Whatever it is. And kind of taking inventory of all those things and holding myself accountable to where I want to go in the life that I want to create and who I'm becoming, because that's important to me. But also, also in this year of devotion to myself, I'm ready to just kind of tuck it away for a bit and just not even think about the interactions and things like that. So there's that. I mean, I'm still working on the book, so it's going to come and go. But just in general, I think I'm just ready to move forward into a different part of this journey for me. But there were some very specific things that have been coming up for me that I've noticed in general in this whole like journey. And I just want to talk about it because it's part of the series. And honestly, the first and second parts that I did to the dating series would be episode, I believe it's 25 and 26, where I told the stories of like where I did start dating like non-monogamously, and casually. And those things don't have to be synonymous to each other. Like, you can date polyamorously and have really deep, intimate, beautiful connections that are even committed and all these things, long-term, beautiful relationships, and not be casual at all. However, for me, that's not what I was doing. So I also wanted to be clear. I think I did that in the last dating series that I talked about, how I was just like, just to be clear, I'm not trying to like shit on polyamory. Just for me, the experience was both of those at the same time. Because I'm a single mom and I had gone through my divorce, and I was like, I'm just not ready to integrate my dating life with my family life for the foreseeable future. And I wasn't willing to bring anybody into my daughter's lives or even start any of that at all. So I was like, but I am interested in like having fun and exploring, and especially for me because I had not had like any variety before that. I just wanted to try different things with different partners, and I did, and it was really fun. It was really fun. And I talked enough about how fun it was in part 1 and part 2. But I also felt like it would be a little reckless of me. Like, I would be remiss to not say also, what is the truth about casual dating, casual sex? You ready? And the crazy thing is, maybe it's not that crazy because I think we all do it, but I actually knew this going into it, and I had to make the cognitive choice to ignore this because I wanted to play, because I wanted to have fun and experiment, and I didn't want to think about the deeper implications that this might have. But it doesn't mean that they weren't there still, you know. But I think if I'm going to tell a story, I think I have to tell the whole story. I think it would be the responsible thing of me to do, especially me now kind of going through this season where I'm kind of sealing off everything and going on about my way. So here's the truth about casual sex, is that there's actually nothing casual about it. Sex is a very sacred exchange of energies, especially if you're engaging in that way, skin to skin, and bodily fluids are being exchanged, right? All this stuff. I think we know this. What that looks like in the practical end is people catching feelings, people getting jealous or possessive, or, you know, it could have any sort of way that it shows up for different people depending on what's going on with them, what their history is, what's going on for them otherwise on the side with other people. It just depends. But not only are you exchanging energies with the person that you're engaging with, but also anybody else that they're engaging with, because they're carrying their energy too. There's a whole cocktail of energies potentially going on when people are dating casually like that, right? And what I found out for myself, and this was actually more recently, was that, okay, so let me back up a little bit. So for the month of December and January, and then again like in like March and April time, I was doing a few different fasts where the theme was like presence and stillness and deep listening, and just like really embodying sensations in my body and feeling all the feelings, to feel them and let them flow through and release and all these things, right? So I'm like super present, super embodied that. So for my personal experience, the person that I was seeing, I wasn't seeing them for like December and January. And then when I saw them again in February, I don't know why I was surprised, but like I was feeling all the feelings that were coming through without like a filter. I was just like pure, here it is in your face. I was feeling it. And like when I have feelings for somebody, I don't hold back. They're the first person to know. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sorry about it. It is what it is. What did you think was going to happen? I'm not trying to keep you, but like, this is what's going on, of course. And this had been like my longest connection. And for me, like I haven't been dating or anything or like seeing anybody else. So I wasn't doing non-monogamy. So that, which by the way, I just want to insert here that when I first started dating, and I was like, I knew for like a year before that when I started dating, I wanted to date polyamorously to like get those experiences, right? And like just kind of live that life for a little bit. Like it was fun. But also my direction when I started to date was to get two partners and not be monogamous to one partner. And I knew that from the beginning, and I knew that in the middle of it, and I knew why, because at least for me, like I get more attached when it's just one person that I'm focusing on. Like I could probably still do casual if I was like, I had like a full roster, even if it was just two. Oh man, I'm just being honest. But the fact that I was in my fasting period and really present and embodied, and I was just allowing all these feelings in my general life, and like doing like inner child work through this class that I was doing, like just allowing all these things to come up to the surface, and so as to feel them and like release them and let them go, right? So when I started seeing this person again, feelings started coming through. again. And of course, like, I'm like, hey, this is what it is. And it was a casual connection where we both knew, like, this is all it was. And that was the arrangement from the beginning, to be fair. Like, that was the original arrangement. You know what I mean? This is exactly what I went into it looking for, me, myself. Like, I just wanted good sex. And this person delivered. And it was mutual. And for the longest time, it worked really well. I remember actually telling him one time, I was like, I feel like our friendship is ruining our sex life. But no regrets. You know what I mean? No regrets. However, I did realize that because I had all these feelings and I was in a place of really honoring my body, honoring my emotions, and holding space for everything going on within me, I was like, it is actually quite unkind of me to put my body and my heart and my energy in the situation of connecting with somebody with sex and then not allowing it to have the very natural response that it's supposed to have of bonding, of intimacy, of longing for more, of love, of feelings, of emotion, of just that connection. That's actually what sex is designed to do, is to connect two people together, biologically speaking. Especially, like I said, if you're connecting skin to skin and all that's going on, like the hormones that are released during orgasm, oxytocin, all of these things are made so that your body can biologically bond to this other person. And I knew that. Not to mention like the energetics of it and the spiritual implications, but like, I was like, it's really unkind of me to put my body in this situation and then say, you know what, you can't feel those feelings. You have to suppress your emotions. There's nowhere for this love to go in this connection. And I had to just be really honest with myself and just be like, I can't keep doing this. Not only do I long for deeper connection and more intimacy and like just love, you know what I mean? Like love to be loved, but also like I can't be true to my body and my emotions in one area of life and not in another. And so for me, it was just like really clear that not just this connection was coming to its completion, but like for me, dating casually was something that I experienced, that I wanted to experience. And now just, it doesn't work for me anymore where I am in the season of life at all. And I'm not really built for casual connection because I go deep. You know what I mean? I feel and I love to feel. I love to love. I'm not opposed to like feeling vulnerable. I'm not even opposed to what it takes to experience the loss of somebody. Like that's just part of what it is. And even with this person, I was like, I'm gonna love you while I get to keep you, but I'd rather have you and get to experience what it's like to have this full experience with you of the feelings and the emotions, and then have to lose you one day, because I knew that would be inevitable, than to just never experience you at all. That was just my approach to it. And lo and behold, that all happened and it all came to an end. And then detachment, which was layered, because it was like so many different parts in dating, but not just in dating, like in my life. I'm here for the experiences. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that people don't mean anything to me. Of course they do. I appreciate people to their core. I love to experience different things. And so when I'm in a connection with somebody, like I leave everything on the table. I don't leave words unsaid. I don't leave feelings unexpressed. I'm fully present in the moment, and I'm here for this right now, fully invested in this. And I have zero regrets because of that, because I showed up with my full truth in that moment, even if it was vulnerable, even if I wasn't trying to save face. Like, trust me, that was not the goal. The goal was to feel it and to be fully in the experience. And then at some point I stand back as a witness to myself, and I'm like, oh, okay, look at this. Like, notice this about yourself, Vanessa. Okay, interesting. I savored every moment. I spoke every word that I wanted to say. I was fully present in each moment, and I just relished it. Like, it was, especially this connection, like, I knew that the next time was never guaranteed. I knew that really all we literally had was that moment. And I think that's what made it, part of what made it so magical, was that it was just like, all I have is right now with you. And and it was just, not only was it like really great sex, like technically speaking, like just the technique, like the stamina, we were just a really good match in that way. But also, so I got my human design reading about this time last year. And then one time he was over here, and I asked him for like his information. I pulled up his design and stuff, and I sent it to him. But I realized that like our energy centers, so like there's energy centers that kind of align with like the chakras, right, in human design. And they're either closed if they're colored in, or they're open if they're white. And so my 3 lower centers are open and they're white, and the rest of them are colored in. And then his were completely opposite. And so even just like literally, I had the science behind why, energetically speaking, we were like this. Like we were like this. Like, just, if you go back to episode 25 where I talk about like the story of how we first met, it was like this, literally like this magnetic pull. And it's there was chemistry, but what I'm talking about is way different than just chemistry. And it's just really interesting because, and somebody was just telling me this the other day, that like, because I have the ability to like see people in a different way than just what's going on here in like the natural world. Like I've said before, like I'm somebody who really enjoys living in like the ethereal realms. But also what happens in that case is that I see people through the perspective of like their soul or their spirit. And in turn, what ends up happening sometimes if I'm not careful and I'm not moving with discernment is that things will come up in the real life situation of it. And like, for example, I might ignore a red flag, or I might ignore this or that, because it's like, this is what's going on here. And even he was like, I'm not even that good of a guy to you. And I was like trying to explain to him, I'm like, it's not about what you do for me. It's about who you are and what we share together. And, you know, I get it that it's like, you need to like not accept less than you deserve and this or that. And I'm not trying to like romanticize, like, I'm not trying to like romanticize like specific connections or like casual hookups, or like you're just attached to this person. I get that. But also, there was something really magical about this connection, to the point to where I was just like, you don't understand what a gift this is. And I don't just mean emotionally. I mean like the experience that we get to experience with each other is a gift beyond even my comprehension of it. Like, I don't understand it, but I know that this is a really rare experience and a really great gift. And like, can I match with somebody like that on an energetic level where like the charts match up like that again? Yes. But also, like, I could just feel that this is what it is. This was never meant to be a permanent connection or even a relationship. Like, I honestly feel that, I remember thinking this really early on, of like, we would be terrible in a relationship together. Like, it would be a disaster. Like, we would drive each other nuts. It would not work. And that's part of that tension is what made everything else so good, because our relationship was like, majority of it was just around the physical act of sex, but also that like energetic exchange and a little bit of like emotional exchange, mostly me. But it was just this like really beautiful experience, and that I cherished in the midst of it, and I will cherish for the rest of my life. I feel like for me, it was like a portal of transformation for me. And so I didn't only cherish the connection, I cherished him as a person, even though there was resistance there to open up from him to me. I was like, I know that this is a huge gift, and I'm somebody that loves to love people and treat people well anyways and take good care of people. And so I did, and like zero regrets about that. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like tit for tat at all. I was just like, this is amazing. And it's not just because of how good it felt and the pleasure. It was about like I I wrote him a poem when I was all in my feels, and like I think it was like February or March, and I meant every word of it. You know what I mean? And it was just, what did I say? I was like, I feel more courage and inspiration in my life to play big. And a lot of that has been reawakening me from experiencing what I've gotten to experience with you. You've changed me, and I wouldn't be the same version of me that you know today without you. You're quite literally my favorite experience with a man ever. And my hope is that when you see yourself, you can see what I see when I see you. Maybe I'll insert it here. It was really like, it just kind of summed up everything that like I appreciated about my experience with him. And not necessarily about him, because he was just always like, I don't really do that. Like he would very intentionally like hold back. And I felt that, and I saw that, and I get it. Like, I get it. I get what the arrangement was. I get that you don't want to be vulnerable and open up so as to get hurt later on. Like, I get that. But it doesn't change the fact of what's going on here. And like, because sex is a sacred energy exchange, like when you're relating with somebody like that on a regular basis, it's gonna go deep. Like, you can't help it. And someone like me, like, I can't help but like really like lean into that and enjoy it and like savor it and honor that. So things ended kind of abruptly between us, and I have mixed feelings about that. My hope was that we could have had a conversation and like intentionally gone into seeing each other one last time to like honor everything that we shared. But that's just not the case. And so it was just weird, because I was always kind of living in two different experiences with this connection at the same time. It was like, what is going on like when we see each other, and what is actually going on with like the actual person of like the actions and like the reality of it. And I can see why when people are engaging in casual sex with people, why that can be so confusing and so like, it just throws you off, because it's like, wait, what is going on here? And it's like both of those things can be true at the same time. And I feel like you have to have a good balance of accounting for both of them in order to move in a way that guards your heart. And eventually that's the point that I got to, where it was like, okay, you know, there's that famous quote by Maya Angelou When somebody shows you who they are, believe them. So that. And it wasn't like, I didn't do a lot of like, I don't do a lot of investigating. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really care. Like, we're not together like that. It's not a monogamy thing, but also like, at some point, like, you have to show that you actually want to keep participating in this. And if you don't, that's fine. Like, at some point we knew we had to part ways, and this is just that point now. And that was hard because it was like, when somebody denies you of the opportunity to have a conversation for closure like that, it is what it is. That's not a reflection of me. That's a reflection of a choice that they made. And then that means that I have to create my own closure by whatever means I do that, like talking about it through video journaling, through my podcast, through writing, through whatever I'm doing. And I move forward with myself. You know what I mean? And there's like the grieving of like, there wasn't a lot to grieve with the person there. Like he said, like he didn't really show up for me. There wasn't much missing by way of that. But like, as far as like the connection goes in the experience when we did get together and what we shared there, it was just really a matter of like looking at that and just being like, damn, okay. And also still, I'm really grateful for that. Like, that has changed me forever. And not only that, the part about detachment was that in the face of having experienced this really magical connection with somebody and not wanting to give that up, of course, like, who would want to give that up? And then on the other end of it, just not having somebody honor you the way that you deserve with like just really basic things. It's like, I can't keep allowing for this. I can't keep allowing for me to engage in this really deep connection without having anywhere for these feelings or this love to go, especially when it's something that I long for. And I can't keep allowing for somebody to just not show up for me in ways that I deserve, even in a casual connection, because they don't have the capacity to, or they're unwilling to. Like, and it was in the face of those two things intersecting and me having to choose to step out of that and say, you know what? I love you. I cherish what we shared, but I need to have some self-respect because you're not going to do it. And that's fine. That's your choice. But I can't allow for any of this to continue if these basic things aren't going to be here. And that part wasn't hard. The part that was hard was the moments in between that nobody sees, where it's like, damn, I really want to text him. Damn, I really wish I could see him right now, you know? And it's like in those moments of discomfort, of grieving, of sadness, of even anger, of like, it could have been so simple. It could all be so simple. But you'd rather make it hard. Loving you is like a battle, and we both end up with scars. Tell me who I have to be to get some reciprocity. See, no one loves you more than me, and no one ever will. No matter how I think we grow, you always seem to let me know it ain't working. And when I try to walk away, You hurt yourself to make me stay. This is crazy. This is crazy. I feel like this person walked away because they probably had shit going on behind the scenes that I knew nothing about. Things got complicated. I have no idea. But also, I think they're just really scared of vulnerability and like going too deep. I get that. I get that. A one sentence text would have been helpful. I feel like people who ghost people, it's like the most cowardly thing you can do, because we live in a world where we have this technology, and quite literally sending a text is the least invasive, like just the easiest thing you could do. There's no excuse. Like, you can literally send a text, and if you don't want to sit with the anxiety of that, throw your phone in the ocean, block somebody. You know what I mean? Like, whatever it is, but like, there's no reason for you not to communicate. Hey, this doesn't work for me anymore. It's that easy. You don't even need to explain it. Just let somebody know. But when people can't even open up to do that, it's like, I don't know what to do. I'm just like, what? That's crazy. After everything? That's crazy. And so, you know me, like, I'm not going to sit here and just like stew over that. But I am going to create the closure that I need and talking myself through it, because you denied me of that right. And so here we are. And I'm not somebody who likes to block people. Like, I feel like we're all adults here. Like, we can communicate until you show me that you're not, and you're not able to. And I remember, like, when this was happening before, earlier on, and I was just like, I actually recorded a video about this. I was like, I hate the fact that I still look at my phone hoping that you text. I hate that. Like, I hate the anxiety that I have around my text message app. And so eventually I just made the decision to block him, because I was like, you're not going to get to have access to message me whenever the fuck you feel like it. That's not how this works. I'm not going to sit here waiting and wondering if and when you ever decide you want to communicate. That's not how this works. You had your opportunity to communicate plenty of time, and you didn't. And now it's like, that's crazy, because the way somebody can just erase you from their phone and from their life, like, I would be dying inside if I did that to somebody. I would just be like, but then again, like, I know through my energy design reading that, like, I'm somebody who needs closure. So like, I always follow up. It's not like I have to have the last word, but it's just like, I love to like seal a conversation or seal an experience and like finish it or honor it, whatever it is. But I guess not everybody's like that, and that's okay. But also, don't think I'm gonna be waiting for you to communicate when you finally grow the balls to say something. That's not how this works. And I'm not somebody who looks for people to like get justice or like karma or anything like that. I genuinely love this person, probably always will. And I told them before, I still mean every good word I ever spoke over you. And I feel like I don't want anybody to ever be like missing me or doing this, but honestly, like, I know who I am. I know what my presence is like and my energy. And I feel like the only karma that anybody ever gets is my absence. Like, I'm just no longer there. And whatever that does or doesn't do to you, it is what it is. It's not my reality anymore. It's not my thing. But that's the only thing. I just remove myself, you know what I mean? Like, and not to cause pain, but to give me the peace that I deserve. So one thing that I heard earlier today was stop chasing closure from somebody who never valued your peace in the first place. It's like, yeah, you can't put your peace, your joy, anything like that in somebody else's hands. And it's like, this connection, I signed up for it fully. Like, I signed up for top to bottom, I signed up for it. You know, I don't even think that there were like any red flags that I ignored, because I knew exactly what it was going into it, and I did it intentionally. You know, what I noticed is that actually every single time that there was a red flag in a previous relationship of mine, I saw it. It's not that I didn't see it. It's that I didn't trust my intuition, and or I didn't value myself enough to stand up for myself and say something, because I didn't want to rock the boat. I didn't want to come off as like too needy or too this or too that, or, you know, whatever it was, too hard to deal with. And these are lessons that I'm taking forward with me, not just in relationships and romantic dynamics, but in everything in life. Of like, I feel something in my body, I need to honor that. I need to speak up and say that. And you know what? If it makes a mess, it makes a mess. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I can come back and apologize. But I've learned that my intuition is so right, and that she's here to help me. Like, I would do well and be wise to listen to her and follow it blindly. And then if something happens where like it wasn't right, cool, we'll have the conversation about that. And if that ruins a connection or like makes me too hard to deal with, perfect. Now we know we're not aligned. And the earlier on that happens, the better for the both of us, because we're not wasting time. I heard this woman once talking about, it was like a video on Instagram. And her words were, for her story was, she was talking with God, and he was like, I couldn't give you your husband back then, because if I would have given you your husband then, you would have stopped growing. And I really felt that. And, you know, I've been married twice, divorced twice. To be clear, I'm not looking for a husband, but I get what she was talking about. And I feel like I'm somebody who all my life I've been loyal. All my life I've wanted a great love. All my life I've looked for that love outside of myself. For the first time in my life, I'm in a place where I'm intentionally showing up for myself in all the ways that I've always longed for a partner. And that's amazing. I love that. Like, that's so necessary for me. And I know that if I had been given the type of partner that I longed for, the type of partner that I try to show up to a relationship as, in my first go round or even my second go round, I wouldn't be the woman that I am today. I wouldn't be the person that I am today. Quite literally, every experience that I've had in a relationship, and they've been really fucking hard ones, I've had to learn those lessons in those experiences. It's nothing that I could have read in a book or somebody could have told me about. I wish that I could have learned that wisdom in that way, but that's just not how it worked for me. And it was hard. It was hard, but also, if I would have been given the type of love that I've always wanted I got together with my first husband when I was 17, and we were together for 12 years. If I would have been given the type of love that I wanted when I was 17, I would not be half the woman that I am today. I would have silenced my voice. I would have shut off my dreams and my heart. I would have settled into complete submission, completely lost myself, and I would have lost desires for my life. I would have made my purpose that relationship and whatever family we would have built. And right about now, instead of really growing into my own sovereignty and empowering myself and really going after my dreams and my life, even with everything else that has happened and everything else that I'm carrying amidst of all this, I would have been so lost and crashing out right now in the middle of a midlife crisis instead of that, and had to do this work now. and probably at this point be going through a divorce from that. Who knows? But what I'm saying is that I'm grateful for the experiences that I've had, the hard experiences that I've had in relationships. I know that I've had to experience those in order to become the person that I am. And even this relationship with this connection, where it had to be that incredible and that magical. And I had to like love that connection so much and that experience so much for me to look at that and look at what was being offered to me by the actual person and say, you know what? I can't keep doing this. And in the face of something that I adored and enjoyed so much, say, I have to respect myself enough to walk away from this, because that process is what it means to no longer abandon myself. That process is what it means to respect myself, regardless of what is being offered on the table. And that was really cool, because when I realized that and I was going through that detachment process and like grieving all of it, I was like, holy shit, like what an honor it is to be in such discomfort right now and so much like either sadness or anger or whatever I was feeling at the moment. Because it's like, this is what it actually means. This experience is what it means to no longer abandon myself, where normally I would want to go back running and say, let's just see each other, whatever it is. And it's like, actually, no, because somebody needs to honor me. And it's going to be me. In this year of devotion to myself, it's going to be me who actually honors me. And although this isn't something that I ever wanted to let go, I've known for a while that I had to, because of this, because the two parallels of what the experience felt like and what the reality of the relationship was just didn't align. And I knew I deserved better. Like, and I just wasn't done playing. Like, and I was told by Spirit to just be like, you need to stop accepting less than you deserve. And for over a year, I was like, no, no, I don't want to. I want to keep playing. And, you know, I think things like that, people don't talk about this a lot, but you leak a lot of energy that way. Especially me, somebody who, I'm a mother, I create a lot. I need my energy for my entire life, all the things that I'm doing, that I'm creating. And when you're allowing yourself to be in something that is just kind of draining you at some point, you have to make a choice. Either you can stay in that and you're not going to move forward in the rest of your life, or you need to decide that you're going to only allow for things that honor you to engage with you in your life, for people who can see you, who can hold you, who have the capacity to value you, to walk with you in your life in any dynamic. It could be a business partnership, a friendship, family, romantic partner, doesn't matter. But like I said in a previous dating episode, that's an energy that you carry of saying, I will not accept less than I deserve. Because once you start accepting less than you deserve in one area of life, guess what? You can't selectively choose which area of life you're going to say, I want your best and your highest for this area of life, but in this area of life, it's okay if I don't really accept less than if I accept less than I deserve. But it's like, it can't work like that. You can't selectively say, I'm going to do here and I'm going to do here over here. It just doesn't work like that. And I am at the point in my life and my creativity and my dreams and what I'm creating out of my life where it's like, I need all of my energy to create what I'm creating. And if somebody isn't helping in that, isn't contributing to that, I can't afford to keep expending my energy there. It just is what it is. I still don't know if I actually want a monogamous relationship, or if when I start dating, I will do so in the realms of polyamory. But if it is, it's not going to be casual. So it would be more of like the type of relationships I was talking about in the beginning of like polyamory can very much be like these beautiful, intimate connections with like just support and love. And what I really want, I recorded a video the other day and I was talking about things that I didn't want and that I did want in a future relationship. And what I really want is expansiveness. And not just for me, also for anybody with whom I'm relating. And what I mean by that is like, imagine being in a relationship with a partner. You're not married because there's no point, quite literally. And let's start there. But also, you're in a relationship with a partner and you both not just say with your words, but actually understand and embody that I am here for my greatest good and expansion and your greatest good and expansion at the same time, mutually. Meaning, and it's not like in a way like, oh, it's just you threw me away because this didn't serve you anymore. No, but like if this connection doesn't serve you anymore, I want you to go and move on with your life and expand wherever it leads you. Like I literally want that for you. No matter how hard it would be to lose you and to grieve the loss of what we shared, when a connection comes to a completion, the more you force it and hold on to it, you're just making each other miserable at that point. Like you really are. And not only do I not want that, but more so, I want somebody to live their fullest and most beautiful, most expansive life, even if that's not with me. Like with this other connection, this person wanted a whole big old family and kids, like babies. And not only do I not want kids, but I've had surgery. I can't have kids. So like there was nowhere for us to go. And I knew that from the very beginning, and every single time we connected, I knew that. And I was always like, I hope you find your wife. I hope you find a beautiful partner and you guys can create this great, amazing family with. You deserve that. Like you long for these children and this family and this beautiful life so much. I can feel it. And I want that for you. Like you deserve every good thing, quite literally. And that's like my genuine interest when I'm connecting with somebody. But also I need somebody to want that for me too, to where the point to where if this connection just isn't working for me, I'm going to be honest with you and I'm going to tell you. And I want to partner with somebody who, although it'll hurt, they can understand and they can let me go with grace and love. You know what I mean? Because they want my greatest and highest good for me too, like genuinely, like not just saying it with words, but like they genuinely want me to experience my full life experience, because I want that for them too. So I don't know if that's going to be polyamorous. I don't know if that's going to be monogamous. I know for sure it's not going to be marriage. That's the only thing I can say for sure. But that's the type of relationship that I'm talking about and the type of life that I want to experience. And I as much as I'm built to be loyal and like this great fairy tale love, I also don't think that it has to last forever. I think that we can wake up every day, preferably not in the same house, not in the same room. I mean, once in a while, like you can come over and spend the night or something. I was talking to my friend the other day. I was like, I don't even want to live with somebody ever again. Like, and if I do, if we go there, we're going to definitely have separate rooms. Definitely. But like, I don't know. I love being alone so much. I have so much that I want to do and experience and create. And I know there's so many people that I have yet to meet. And it's like, you just never know when you're going to meet somebody. You just never know. And I want to be able to be open to that. I don't know. It doesn't matter because I'm not doing it right now anyways. Sex specifically is very sacred. And I think I'm not saying like we have to take it so seriously. I think it's really cool that we get to live in this human experience and be in these bodies where we can enjoy playing with that pleasure. And it doesn't always have to be like a hugely emotional thing or a hugely like spiritual thing. I'm just saying that for me personally, once parts of me started longing for more, I had to honor that. You know what I mean? At first, I got there because I wanted to play. I wanted to experiment and try different things. And I did that. And also, through that process, I found out that I can't engage in something that is so like just all of me and pretend that it's not that deep. It is. And I feel like I still don't need commitment from somebody to be able to enjoy it that deeply. I think most men, the ones that I interacted with, like they couldn't see the beauty of being able to connect with somebody in that experience and have it be like an isolated experience or almost like a compartmentalized part of their life. Like, we're going to enjoy this for what it is, and we're not going to shy away from it for the vulnerability of it or even the emotions of it, and just know that this is what it is. That has been hard to find. I think ideally, if I could find that with a partner and then maybe a different partner if we're doing like polyamory, I think that would be really fun. One of the reasons why I'm like reluctant to decide on monogamy is because I still want to explore all kinds of things with all kinds of people. I talked about on part 2 of the dating series how I had gone on my, like, this is like a year or more than a year now, that I had gone on my first girl date because I was like curious and I wanted to explore, and I still am, and I haven't, but like that's definitely something that I want to experience, and I don't know where that's going to lead me. I don't know if it's just like a curious thing or if it's like a fantasy thing or if it'll become like a potential relationship thing. I have no idea. I'm open to it because I'm not willing to live my life in a box, and I'm only willing to live to what is true to me and what is authentic to me and my desires. This thing keeps falling. I was out last weekend and I was at Tempe Marketplace, and literally, I don't know if you're gonna believe me, but this never happened. Like, people never come up to me. Guys never come up to hit on me or anything like that, which I'm fine with. Like, I think I just have my energy kind of so closed off that people are just like, I better not. And that's cool. But I was there last weekend and 2 different guys came up to talk to me. And the first one, he was super young and he like gave me this really funny line. And I was like, that's sweet. And he asked me for our number. I was like, no. And then this other guy came down and sat next to me where I was sitting, and he just started talking. And he was like, well, we can just be friends, because I was like, I'm not dating right now. And he was like, well, we can just be friends. And I was like, no, I'm not doing anything right now. But I just feel like I get the courage that it takes to like walk across the room and generate a conversation out of thin air and like pay somebody a compliment or whatever it is, and potential rejection if you're like gonna shoot your shot. I get that. Like, kudos to you. You're a brave person. Also, I'm just not here for that right now. I'm not. And one of the things that I feel like, you know, because I clean up nice. You know, most of the time I'm in my mom bun and my yoga pants or work or whatever, and it is what it is. But when I want to and I can like dress up cute or I just want to go out, all this stuff, whatever, I can do that. I can, you know, I can play that part. But I also feel like no matter what anyone thinks of the way that I look on the outside, it's actually the least interesting thing about me. And when I do get ready to align with somebody, I want to align with somebody who can see that about me. And it's like, you know, I might have physical features, things like that, that you like, great, great. You know, it'll probably be mutual. But like, there's just so many more things that I think will carry a relationship when there's like appreciation for other things besides that, besides looks. So I don't get impressed by people who are impressed by my looks. And I don't get impressed by people at all. It's very hard to impress me because I don't look at what other people see. I can't help but to look deeper because that's what I see, because I actually asked to be able to see people in that way, and I do. And again, I just have to kind of balance it out with discernment of like, I see who you are, I see the heart of your essence and who you're created to be, and it's beautiful. But also I need to ground it and bring it down into like this practical reality and just kind of balance it out with like what's actually going on here in like real practical terms of this real life experience. So I'm learning that, and it's it's new for me because I do like to see people for who they are. I like to speak life into people and watch people kind of rise to the occasion of themselves. I think that's why in a lot of ways I am a big mirror to people. I don't like try to do that. I think even my presence can be really confronting for people because I'm somebody who, I know who I am. I know what I want. And if I'm here with you, it's because I see you and I enjoy you. And I see parts of you so deeply that you may have even hidden from yourself, that most people in your life don't see about you, don't know about you. You may even have forgotten these parts about you, but it doesn't make them any less true. And so a lot of times there's like a reawakening that happens there. Things that don't impress me, but perhaps I should take into consideration in my next relationships are material looks, material things. I still do require some sort of physical attraction, especially for like intimate connection like sex. It's just what it is. I think that's biological. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't know. People like arrogance and ego and entitlement are just immediate turnoffs. Immediate. Like nothing drives me up faster. I think, how do I want to put this? I did an episode called Broken Hallelujah. I think it was episode 39. And I talked about my relationship with God and Jesus after Christianity. And I talked about how it was very conversational, very like best friend vibes, like very relational. And the type of relationship that I want with a partner, I can kind of compare to that. Like it's the difference from religion to relationship with God. I don't want anybody who's going to go through the motions and just show up because they're supposed to, because they said they were going to do this. They said we're committed in this way. Like, I don't want that, not for a single day. Like if you're not choosing to be here because you absolutely want to be here, please set yourself free. Like, please just go. We don't have to pretend that like this still works for you. And as much as that can hurt, and there's like a grieving process of like letting go and that loss, like also I only want to engage with people who absolutely like desire to engage with me. I know I said this once, like I don't need people to be obsessed with me, but in that moment, are you fully present? Like in that moment, are we here? You know what I mean? Especially if it's just like a sexual connection. Because if not, like what else are we doing? Like what else are we doing? There's a song on Sir's album, Chasing Summer. And he goes, we know enough will never be enough. And to me, that really sums up this connection, or probably most situationships you might be able to relate. Because it's like you know you need to let go and you don't want to, and it's just like, just one more time. Like, I just want to see you one more time. And it's never enough. So the letting go, it's inevitable. And it's not always going to be in the perfect way, because either way, it doesn't matter. It's going to suck. You're going to have to go through the withdrawals and the loss and the grief and the heartbreak. And it just is what it is, you know. I want to give some practical strategies, some practical things that I do to release people's energy, especially when you're connecting with somebody in a casual way. You want to make sure you do this, especially once the connection is complete. It's really easy. It's just energetics. There's nothing like witchy to it. It's literally just sending people's energy back to them and calling your energy back to yourself. And I listen to a guided meditation to help me like do that process. But it's literally just, and you can do it in a journal. You can do it like laying down in a meditation. You can do it in a bath. You can do it sitting down. You can speak it. You can think it, whatever it is. But, and you can do like, some people do like hand motions to like wipe off the energy, shake it off, whatever it is. But I think it's really important to be intentional about not just sending people's energy back to them, but calling all of your energy back to yourself. Because, and more than likely, you'll have to do it more than once. I don't play about energy. For example, like with this connection, once I realized that like I wasn't going to see him again, my friend was laughing at me about this. He's like, not you emotionally deleting texts and pictures. But I did, because I'm just like, I don't play about energy. I don't want to have it in my phone. I don't want to go back and be tempted to look at it, because then you start the energy loop all over again. And like I said, I was fully present for each and every single moment that we shared, and I honor that. And I'm not going to keep your pictures and our videos in my phone to have that to go back on and look at. I had actually deleted our entire like text message thread, and I was like, after I did it, I was like, fuck, why did I do that? Because I'm writing my book, you know what I mean? And it's just like, it's good to be able to look back upon. And I was able to recover them, but even when I like went back and read some of them when I was recovering them, I was like looking at different ways that I showed up, because most of our communication was via text. So it's like all there. And I would like see different ways that I would respond to different things. And I was like, ew, you're so like, oh man, like, I don't know, like just overly available and like borderline desperate and like very pick me. And I was just like, it's so good to have that like information and example actually to look back at and be like, damn, like how far gone did you have to be in whether it was lust or desire or not being able to center yourself in a moment of like wholeness or self-soothing, that you're reaching this hard and this far for somebody else outside of you. So that was just like a big confronting mirror for me of like, okay, okay, Vanessa, I can see why. I got it. No regrets. I would have probably done some of that differently, but like now I know, you know, and going forward, I honestly, at this point, because so much has transpired with me in this connection, but also in my life, I can honestly say that I feel like I wouldn't even know how to be that person anymore right now. Like I feel, going back to read it, I felt like just such an aversion to it. I was like, ooh, that is not cute. The energy, it is just like, I don't know. But yeah, I was able to recover those, but not for emotional reasons. And that's why I deleted it in the first place, because I was like, fuck this. I'm not keeping this shit. Oh man. But I'm so glad that I have them now. I saved them. I saved them on a PDF because I don't want them on my phone. Because I don't play about energy. It's like the moment you start like picking all that stuff back up and like just the nostalgia and like thinking about it, like you're actually still tugging on someone's energy. Like you can feel when somebody is like thinking about you, overthinking about you, especially when like you're trying to detach from a connection, because the energy bond is still there. And the only way to dissolve it, to get rid of it, is to starve it. Quite literally. And like I said, removing energy, sending it back, and calling all of your energy back to yourself with love. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like a hateful thing, but I'm just like, you have to do it. I also do things like for the girlies, like just cleansing, like physically cleansing, like a yoni steam, like before and after my cycle. Your cycle is actually a great way to naturally for your yoni to be cleansed and stuff. So all of that, and doing it all with intention. And that's it. And it's like, I'm grateful. Thank you. And goodbye. You know, that one meditation, ho come prayer or something like that, where it's like, thank you, I love you, I forgive you, I'm sorry, something like that. And it just repeats over and over and over again. And it's like, yeah, because, you know, all of it, absolutely all of it. Thank you, I love you, I forgive you, I'm sorry. Yep. Anyways, I don't know if you can tell, but I actually went to work and I was like listening to this and I was like, shit, I miss so much. And I was still wearing the same clothes. I was like, I don't want to have to re-record all that. So I'm like, I'm just going to come home real quick and do it before I go get the girls. This feels good. I feel like I can, at least for now, put a little bow on the series, on this season of my life, and move forward. I don't even know if I'll share this, to be honest with you, but just like getting it all out of here, and like just expressing it. It's like, you know, self-therapy for sure, which is most of what I'm doing here. You just happen to have the option to press play if you want. But yeah, I think I just want to say that I know people talk about self-love and it's like just this kind of elusive thing that is like, what does that even mean? Like, how do you do that? And yes, there are like practical things that you can do, like taking care of your body, like taking care of your heart, and like all these things. But I think ultimately what it really comes down to is you honoring yourself in every moment. And in every moment, it could be a different thing. What you have to do to honor yourself today could be different from what you had to do yesterday or last week or last month or last year. It could be completely different. And so it's not like a one size fits all, even for yourself. And I'm just really glad to be at the point in my life where I finally have turned inward and I'm like, you know what, Vanessa? I love you. Like, what do you need? You've been through a lot. And it's not about, I'm really intentional with words, and I try not to focus on the negative way of saying something, because then you're focusing on what you don't want, right? So like what a lot of people would call like decentering men, even just the term, you're still including men in the thing. And it's not about decentering whatever you don't want. It's about focus on what you do want. And that's why I call this a year of devotion to myself, because that's exactly what it is. It's like really just giving myself the attention that I haven't, and listening, and then honoring what I know that I communicate to myself that I need, whether it's through my body, whether it's in my heart, whether it's like just old past things that I need to confront. And whether it's like journaling or like a somatic, whatever it is, but like I think I've just experienced so much up to this point in my life, and to have just a minute of like, let me just sit with myself here for a minute. You know what I mean? Let me just take a minute. When I had literally like 3 or 4 weeks of like singleness between my first marriage and my second, the guy who I ended up marrying the second marriage, I was like, this is the best thing ever. And I remember longing for that season of life again because it was so short-lived for me. And it's like, I could keep dating and it's not that big of a deal. And it's just little distractions here and there. It doesn't really mean like my whole life. You know what I mean? It's not, but it's like, no, I need to be fully present with myself, period. And nothing else will do. Even just a little bit of thinking about somebody else. For me, that's a lot of energy. That's a lot of intention that I then give out. And I need all of it to stay in-house right now. Literally in my home. For me and for my daughters. And that's it. And, you know, we can't be made to feel guilty about that, especially as women, especially as single or co-parenting moms. Like, this is exactly what you should be doing. And like, to each their own. Like, if you want to date, date. If you don't want to date, don't date. But, oh, there's this one clip that this woman is interviewing Oprah. And I think it's from like ET News or something. And she's like, I'm newly single. Like, can you give me any words of advice? And Oprah's like, oh my God, it's the best time. It's the best time. She's like, you know, you have this time where you're partying and you're going out and you're doing all this and like you're having fun, blah, blah, blah. It's like, but then you have a moment of time where you come home to yourself and you get to be the lover, you get to be the friend, you get to be the confidant and all these things. And it's just like, that's exactly what it is. Like, I actually not only get to show up for myself, but I get to get curious about what it is that I actually need and what I desire, what I prefer. And I get to be the one to show up for myself first, because ultimately nobody else can do that for me if I don't actually know what I want. And I can't get clearer on what I want if I'm swimming in other people's energies constantly, even if it is casual, even if it's non-committal. Doesn't matter. That's not how it works. That's not how I work. Maybe it's just me. But like, it's time. You know what I mean? And I think I just want to say, even though I don't think anyone who I talk to watches these or like listens to these, but I think just to declare to the universe and like just the whatever of it, of all of my dating experiences, like I'm just so grateful. Definitely ran into some fuckboys, like fuck them. But besides that, like this connection, like a couple others that like, you know, they weren't forever, but like they were really great. And like I was able to experience some really beautiful moments, really incredible people, and like absolutely no regrets. This one was my favorite. Like I did say in that video that I had posted on Detachment on YouTube last weekend, I was like, I know that I've experienced some really difficult, hard shit in relationships before. And I also know that like nothing is wasted. Like, I think it was episode 30 that I did titled Nothing is Wasted. And I talked about those hard experiences in previous marriages and how I was grateful because I was able to like extract the wisdom from those lessons, and it has served me in my becoming. And that's absolutely true. And this connection that I was talking about here today, like this lesson has been my favorite lesson to learn. And I would not have wanted to learn this lesson with anybody else but him. And I don't know why things ended the way that they did. I'll probably never know. And that's okay. I don't need to. It's just that like every moment that I was there, I was fully present and savoring it. And that gratitude will continue forever. Like, I literally was changed because of you. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I wouldn't have changed a thing. I don't have any regrets. I showed up exactly how I wanted to show up in the moment. And you did what you could with the capacity that you had. And yeah, thank you. You know, when I first got on the dating app, I kind of like was taken aback a little bit by just the experience of everybody. And you know me, I'm always kind of looking at all the different layers of everything. And I remember towards the beginning, it was like, I wonder which traumas each of us experienced to bring us here to this place. And not to say that like monogamy is like the biological design or not of humans, or it's superior or whatever. There's no hierarchy. It's like whatever works for you. But I can just definitely tell like there was distinct things with each person where they were either like afraid to do this, or afraid to be vulnerable, or didn't want to do this, or it was just really interesting because I was like now a part of that pool. I was like, I knew what my traumas were that brought me to this place. And it turned out to be really true. Like, and I feel like the entire dating pool is like that in general, even if you're not dating casually, even if you're not dating ethically, non-monogamously. But it was just a really interesting experience of like, okay, what brought you here? What are you doing here? I also did a video last week that I posted, and I was talking about how I saw this guy at work and he was flirting with me, and like my body started responding to him, like, and I was like, Vanessa, stop it right now. Absolutely not. Like, cut it out. And then it made me like just kind of think about like what I was looking for, the importance of like being able to be in a relationship with somebody who's willing to confront themselves, because that type of person is willing to take accountability and willing to grow. And that's so important because you're not perfect. I'm not perfect. That's not the goal. But the point is, are you willing to be honest with yourself and say, this is the way I've showed up here, and you know, I don't want to be like this. Because that's what I would do. You know what I mean? And just to be in alignment with somebody like that, where that kind of mutual respect and just desire for the other person's best is there. Like, that's so important. I also said that I want a man who's going to pray over me. Non-negotiable. And I'm not Christian. It's not about that. I don't know. I just want somebody who will go to war for me in the spiritual realms, period. Whatever that looks like. You know, you're talking to spirit, you're talking to your angels, I want to hear it. I want to hear you speak those words of life over me in power. Like, I feel like there's nothing sexier than a man like praying and worshiping. What else? Oh yeah, I don't want to date anybody who's cool. Like, I'm just so good on people who are just like too cool for school type vibe. Like, I'm just like, I want a dork. Honestly, I just want somebody I can laugh with and have fun with and be so comfortable in my crazy, just whatever self around. And I want them to be comfortable. Like, I'm so tired. Bullshit. I just want somebody who's just kind and a beautiful heart, a beautiful soul, funny, and just that wants to have fun moments, like doesn't take life too seriously, and helps me to remember not to take life too seriously, because also I'm still Virgo. That I was like, lying, immediate deal breaker. Immediate deal breaker. Don't fucking lie to me. Don't do it, because that's it. You get one shot to break my trust, to betray me, to break your integrity. That's it. bonus if he wants to cook for me. You know what's so funny is like, now that I just feel like I'm going to be so much more open to like whatever and wanting to explore with women, I'm like legit afraid that like I might fall in love with a woman and have a relationship. Like, I don't know if I want that. I don't know. It's funny though. Anyways, I think that's all. Thank you for listening. I don't even know if I'm going to post this. It was just like a smorgasbord of everything. But thanks for being here. We'll talk to you later. Bye. You've been given a vision of something to create. Nobody sees this vision. Nobody's gonna see this vision. Nobody's supposed to see this vision. The vision is for you. If you want it to be portrayed in a better light, you should have chosen different behaviors. It's like there's nothing to stop me. It's fun. I feel free. Like, that's just the most delicious way to live my life. Like, that communion with God, that presence with God is the gift. It is the thing that you're actually longing for. This is exactly where I want to be in this moment with nobody else but you right now, doing exactly what we're doing. And so I already feel like I'm living my dream life, like I am. Do you trust me? Do you trust me that I got you? And I'm like, yeah, I do. I do trust you. I trust that I see things that God has for me to see and that I can understand those things. It's been so liberating because it's allowed me to really trust myself. And like, I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm describing what it was like for me to be able to create something out of nothing. It'll be great. It's going to be wonderful.